Today I want to talk about what we do for fall training and why we torture ourselves doing it. But first, let's roll the intro. Alright, let's get right into this. The first thing I want to talk about is why we do fall conditioning and why we torture ourselves at the beginning of the year. There's a lot of good reasons why we do fall conditioning. One of the first reasons is injury prevention. By doing this fall conditioning phase of the year, if you peaked yourself properly the year before, you slowed down your lifting, and then when your season was over, you took a little bit of time off to recover and rest and do just about nothing. So now getting back into it, your body, your muscles, and your tendons aren't ready to have the load of heavy weights on them right away. So by doing some body weight exercises and a lot more conditioning, you really start to prepare all your tendons and muscles to not get injured, so you're not jumping into heavy weights right away and tearing a muscle or injuring yourself. And staying injury-free as an athlete is one of the most important things you can do. Another reason why we do this fall conditioning phase is for muscle recovery. As you do more cardiovascular exercises, you get more oxygen into your blood, and that helps promote muscle healing. So once you get into your heavy lifting, the oxygen in your blood can really help repair the muscles so you can recover faster. And without being illegal and taking drugs, you want to do as much as you can to help recover as quickly as possible so you can get more training in, so you can have better results throughout the season. So by doing this conditioning phase, you're just helping your body heal faster in the long run, and it's something that's really beneficial for that reason. Another reason why it's important to do a fall conditioning phase is the obvious one of it's just good to be in shape. As an athlete, you need to eat a lot of food, especially when you're working out hard and have hard workouts. You need to get the food to maintain your weight or to just stay healthy and have energy. So you get used to eating a certain amount, and as the season goes on, you lift less, but sometimes with that, your appetite doesn't change. And then once your season's over, you aren't working out as much or at all in the time that you're taking your downtime. And then sometimes you'll still maintain the same diet as before. So to put on like more fat in your off season is a typical thing to happen. So to do this fall conditioning phase, on top of the other benefits it has, it can also just help you get in shape, lose some body fat, and really just get you going again for the next season. So now that I've talked about a few of the reasons why we do fall conditioning, I want to talk about some of the things specifically that we do. A lot of the exercises that we do are things to strengthen all the different parts of our body. So we do things as simple as walking in a sand pit, go to the long jump pit or triple jump pit, whatever, sand pit for jumping, and we'll shovel that up, make sure all the sand's nice and loose, and then we're doing walks in it. For me, I had rolled my ankle really bad this past season, so for me, I'm doing walks in the sand. I'm doing on my toes, on my heels, on the outside of my feet, on the inside of my feet, and just all the different things to strengthen the tendons, the little muscles, and things that you need. For other athletes, it's the same thing. He wants them to have strong ankles, and if they haven't had an injury, just to strengthen the little parts of the body. So they're doing jumps in the sand, one leg jumps, two leg jumps, forwards, backwards, and just little exercises like that really, especially jumping in the sand, is such a great cardio exercise. So you're doing that, but at the same time, you're also strengthening these little muscles. So a lot of the stuff we do are things that are functional and serve a purpose, but also are just a little bit more fun to do and mix things up a bit. So instead of sitting on the ground and doing Russian twists with a med ball, we're doing slams into the ground, like overhead with the ball. And there's something satisfying about slamming anything or punching stuff and just getting your anger out. So to pick up a med ball and throw it into the ground side to side, you're working similar muscles, maybe not the exact same ones, but the same kind of area. It keeps it more interesting, and it's really amazing how much core activation it takes to throw a med ball. Even doing straight up in the air throws, as you bring the ball down, you've got to strengthen your whole core and your back and keep everything tight and use your legs and explode up. So we do a lot of exercises that just keep it fun, mix it up, and are more functional and serve a good purpose than just doing some static Russian twists, like I was saying before. We do some rolling V-ups, just something that, instead of doing a regular V-up, it's a bit more fun to roll, to do the V-up, and it's a great exercise, and you just are getting everything going. By rolling, you're strengthening every different muscle in your core, and at the same time, you're also doing the V-up. So a lot of good reasons, a lot of exercises like that. On top of that, of course, we do our strides. Every Friday we do 10 Minutes of Heaven, which came from 10 Minutes of Hell, where it's length of a football field or the inside of a track, and we split it in half. So you jog half, sprint half, jog half, sprint half, jog half, sprint half, and you just do that for 10 minutes. Just good conditioning. It sucks, but when you're with a team or with someone else, it's super incredible to have. On that note, I want to say, if you're looking at a school or looking at a program to train with, find a coach that's young and capable of doing the exercises also, because it helps a lot. And I could talk a lot about why having Martin with us to do the exercises is phenomenal. I just want to touch on a couple points. The first one is that having your coach do the exercises with you, he can modify the exercises at the same time. So say he said, go to the stadium and do 15 stadium runs. And he does them with us, so not only are you doing them with your coach, that just is extra motivation. Like, okay, if my coach can do it, like I can do it, because he's my coach. Like I'm the athlete, but having the coach there with you to do that, and he also has the ability to tweak the workout. So say he says do those 15, and we get to 7, 8, or 9 or something, and he's like, you know what, like I think that's enough. And at that point, he can tell us that it's enough. He thinks it's enough, and we can stop there. Rather than a coach that doesn't do it with us, he might just be like, do 15. And when you get to 10 and you're dying, he's like, oh, you guys are being babies. Like, do the 15. Like, I told you do 15. Like, do the 15. And everyone's dying, and a lot of coaches, I think, just don't see that. So to have a coach to do it with you really can help him understand and make it so you're not dying and doing things that are completely unnecessary. Because I think it's easy as a coach to tell your athletes to do something because you've read that's what other people do, so that's what you do, when it really needs to be tailored to each individual athlete. Pay attention to that if you're looking at a school. I just wanted to talk quickly on it because it's amazing that Martin literally comes out and does everything with us, and it really helps us, have a tight team. He's doing it with us, so we can't complain as much. Anyway, I've got an interview with Martin. I'm going to put that in right now. He talks a little bit about fall conditioning, why we do it, and why it's beneficial. So I want to put that in because he's a two-time Olympian, a Croatian record holder in discus. So he's definitely got some good insight and good ideas why we're doing it, and he can explain it better than I can.
So what we do in the fall is we are working on our work capacity. So endurance-based exercises such are stair runs, or what we call 10 Minutes of Heaven, kind of strides. It's more of down the line of high-intensity interval training. So there's a lot of research backing up that has proved that doing some kind of certain percentage of endurance exercise helps build up your muscle mass, vice versa. Also, doing some kind of weight resistance exercise for distance runners is a very, very good way to build up your oxygen level capacity. So what we do now in the fall, what I really like for my athletes is to do hurdle mobility with med balls. We go twice every way. And then we do part of it also backwards. So for rotational throwers, you spend part of your throw going backwards. So it's also important to build that up in this time of year into your training. So you get prepared. Once we start throwing a little bit more in late October, that athletes can be prepared. High intensity training, HIIT training. You have a part that you execute, so about 30 seconds, maybe 45. A minute, and then you have rest period coming down about a minute. So you need your rest period to be a little bit longer than work. Otherwise, you're going into pure endurance, right? So you're going something like running or biking is great, like I said, again, to a certain percentage. But what's proven to be very beneficial for us is do that kind of high intensity interval training. The purpose of this, a little bit of more conditioning than we do in the spring, is to build up work capacity for the period that we're going to start in November when we start lifting heavy. In order to have a peak, it's really difficult without some kind of base. So we had quite a few athletes from our group peak at the right time because of this type of training, and they obviously outperform themselves. They throw PRs during June, July when we target it. Is after your summer, you had the long summer of doing a little bit, so that's why we do a lot of mobility, stretching, flexing, doing small exercises that get your base in check, build up your work endurance, your work capacity, so we can hit those 8 reps, 10 reps in the fall, late fall, and build up real muscle mass. And that time we will reduce then the percentage of endurance that we do. There's a lot of science going into it, but for the main part, right, for the kind of break it down, is you want to build your base before you start doing some really heavy stuff. And this is the period that we do it. It's not a very pleasurable, but it's very efficient, as you can see from results that our throwers had.
Thank you very much for watching. If you made it to the end of this video, I hope that you learned something. I hope that if you aren't doing fall conditioning, you see the reasons why you should do it. Or if you've been doing some boring, just simple running exercises, find ways to mix it up, keep it interesting, and it can really help your training and help you in the long run. So thanks for being here. I will see you guys in the next one. Take it easy.